Welcome to the Marie Manuchehri Podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, and welcome to my podcast where energy meets the divine. I'm so happy you're here. Please like and subscribe below if you're listening to this on YouTube so that you will be notified when new videos become available. Okay, we're still very much in eclipse energy. I'm recording today on September 16th. The eclipse is actually tomorrow. And then this podcast is released the following day. So we're in very intense eclipse energy. If you listened to my podcast that aired yesterday, or actually today, it aired today, earlier today, you would have heard some of my thoughts about eclipses. And I'm going to add some more information today that the universe wanted me to channel, because most of the people who follow me and who take classes from me or clients from me are old soul types. All are welcome, by the way, all are welcome. So old soul types have, of course, kind of consistent potential patterns that are very similar between the entire, soul type, the old soul type. Some of you, as I'm going to talk about some ideas or examples about what this eclipse could do for you or what's happening maybe during this eclipse time, because when an eclipse happens, this is a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. It shines light into the darkness. That's what an eclipse does. It shines light into the darkness so that you gain an awareness of something. And then I'm going to be talking about what maybe those somethings could be, and then some ideas about what you can do, not only to gain the consciousness that you need, or that you're afraid of, or that feels uncomfortable, but also some tasks to keep you moving forward so you don't have to keep repeating patterns. When we reincarnate to the earth, we're working on previous lifetimes. It may feel like you're working on this particular lifetime because the themes that are here are a reflection of previous lifetimes, but you're really working on previous lifetimes. You're going to be working on future lifetimes, or this one in the future, but not now. You're working on past lives. And before we incarnate, because our soul is huge, it's enormous, it's had so many experiences, beautiful, amazing, scary, terrible, the whole thing. And these are just human definitions. The universe would never use the word terrible or even scary. Maybe they'd use the term not as conscious, perhaps. So you've had a lot of experiences, and before we incarnate, we typically pick a theme like, I'm going to go to Earth. It's a decision that we choose before we reincarnate. We get very excited. We're like, I've been in so many non-physical realities, and I want to go back to Earth. Maybe we think it's a fun place. I actually happen to love Earth. I hope I come back many, many, many times, when some old souls hope they never come back to Earth. Those old souls typically have 9 spirit guides, because 9 is a conclusion number. I hope I don't have 9 spirit guides. I only have 3, and I hope I come back often and frequently. I think it's a magical place. So before you came here, your soul and you, which is you are the soul, but it feels a little separate when you're in human perception. We feel a distance between our higher self, which we're always connected to, but we can feel this distance with it. It doesn't really exist, but it feels like it exists. We scour the memory banks of our soul's experiences and pick those things that we haven't quite put into a high frequency yet. Some people could say we haven't healed yet, but it's still in somewhat of a low vibration. We don't fully understand the concept. It's eluding us in some way. And we're going to bring that theme into the lifetime that we're choosing so that we could have opportunities to change our perception about it. Because everything's about perception. You change your perception about it and it's gone. It's like learning to drive a clutch. If you've never driven a clutch, like one of my daughters doesn't know how to drive a clutch at all. And her husband only buys for himself. They each have their own car. He only buys cars that have a clutch because he loves clutches. So if something happens to her car and it's in the shop, and if his car happens to be there, he's going to have to drive her. Hopefully he didn't take the bus to work because she's going to be stuck. Luckily, she lives close to me. I can always pick her up. But it's kind of like where you've tried, or you've just, I'm not going to learn to drive a clutch. I don't want to learn. I'm never going to use a clutch. I don't want to learn. And then all of a sudden you go, I think I'm going to practice driving a clutch now. I think that would be important. I could drive any car that I wanted to. And so that's what happens when you're on the other side. Before you reincarnate to the earth, you find an area that maybe you've been ignoring, or you didn't think it was important, or you just didn't care. You didn't feel inspired to change its perception. And now you're going to take those files, if you will, that are related to a previous lifetime perception. It's just a misperception. Nothing wrong happened. It's just a misperception. You're going to take that misperception into this human reality and have a life experience about it, so that hopefully you will change your perception. Just because you come to earth with ideals, and hopefully some of them are to simply have fun, like go swing on a swing, go down a slide, roll down a grassy knoll, go stand up paddleboarding, go ride a bike, go lay on your back on some beautiful sand and look up at the stars. Have fun on earth, because it is a really stunning, beautiful place. And the physical reality is not this, or the non-physical reality, is not the same. It's very different. So you've come to earth, you have this file of stuff that you want to rewind and reevaluate, whether you're aware of it or not. It may feel like it's happening for the very first time. And issues that we're working on that are happening really for the first time in this lifetime, but the ones we're working on, you feel them so deep in your soul when they happen, because you have such a long history of a misperception of pain about it, that it's like someone stabbing you in the chest, right? Even if, which is typically the case with older souls, even if the circumstances are 100 times less significant or less serious or less tragic than they were in previous lifetimes, it still feels the same, like someone stabbed you in your heart, your neck, your head, someplace very vital, and it's extremely painful, and you're shocked. You're shocked. But it's really something you're trying to heal. You're trying to heal it. You're trying to create a new perception. So the eclipse is occurring. This is one of the reasons why I love eclipses, because it's an opportunity for all of us, every single one of us, to have a new shift in consciousness about something that's been like a repetitive pattern in our life, even if it hasn't happened for 5 or 6 years or 10 years. And you may think, oh, good, I never have to deal with that again. And then boom, it happens again. Maybe not as harsh as it was before, maybe not as terrible as it was before, but nevertheless, you feel the same in your chest. And there it is again. It's so annoying. So the eclipse is here to help you to gain consciousness by shining light into the darkness. So it's shining light into your soul's area that have been hidden from you in this lifetime, or maybe multiple lifetimes. And that's why meditation, or one of the reasons why meditation can be so powerful, because if we can learn how to quiet our minds regularly, when eclipses happen, you're prepared, you know how to do it. You know when you're feeling the precipice of the universe asking you to quiet your mind and go stare into a fireplace and take some notes, or do some automatic writing, or go for a long walk, or whatever it is that you need to do for you, so that you can gain insight into this darkened area that now is blinding with beautiful bright light. And you're like, oh, wow. So I'm going to talk about at least one theme that's prevalent in old soul misperceptions. And that is overgiving, overcompromising, over-nurturing other people, not yourself, who either can't hear you, can't see you, and I don't mean that they can't physically see you, but they can't see who you are. They can't hear your words. They really don't truly respect you. They don't really honor you. They can't see your authenticity. Now, remember, they're here to help you heal this misperception that could be thousands of years old. But it still doesn't matter who they are or how old this thing is or how it's presented to you. Your job is to stop these main activities: over giving, over nurturing, over compromising for people who can't hear you or see your authenticity and have this pattern of disrespecting you, not honoring you. So let's say that the eclipse is awakening something like that for you. You're an older soul type. You are used to kind of codependent behaviors where you over nurture other people because you want to be loved and you want to be cherished. You're also nice. Old souls are nice people. They're generous. They're kind. And when people in your life cannot acknowledge your generosity or appreciate your compassion, that means they cannot see your authentic self. And that means you need to set some boundaries. I always believe boundaries should be set upon the person, meaning yourself. It's really not setting boundaries with others. It may feel that way, but with old souls in particular, it's always about setting boundaries with yourself. It's kind of like, I don't mind lending money to people, but I only lend amounts that I don't care if it's returned to me or not. Yeah. And that could change, month to month or year to year. Not that that many people ask me for resources, but that's my inner rule because I know I won't care if they can't pay me back or they forget to, or they need to use that money for something else. I won't care at all. It's just, to me, it's a gift, whether they recognize that or not. So that's just a rule I have with myself. It's with myself. It's not with the people that I'm giving monies to. That's my rule with me. So when you're setting boundaries, you're setting boundaries with yourself, not other people. It's difficult to get other people to change. And some people will not change in their lifetime. I'm going to say that again. Some people will not change in their lifetime. And old souls believe in humanity. They believe in people. They love them unconditionally, the majority of them. And so they will give and give and give and think to themselves, well, I just have to love this person more. I just have to be kinder to them. I just have to explain it better. I just have to show them I'm a really good, gracious person over and over and over again. And old souls think that eventually that person's going to have this epiphany, which is rare. They're going to have this epiphany and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You're such a great person. I'm sorry I wasn't recognizing it. If you're waiting for that, stop waiting. It's probably not going to happen. And it's definitely not going to happen until you heal this pattern. So the pattern, as I said, overgiving, nurturing, and caring for others is the problem. Old souls, their job is to be more self-reflective. They need to think more about themselves. And it's hard for old souls because one of the things that old souls hate is for anyone to accuse them of being selfish or dishonest or mean or non-trustworthy. Old souls have a lot of integrity typically. And so all of their buttons get pushed when people are unkind to them or when they perceive this form of unkindness. And so that usually what old souls will do, they'll go back into their pattern and be really empathetic and start overgiving again to this person or groups of people. And it's just not healthy. So perhaps the eclipse is shining a light in the darkness of your soul on this topic. So here's your homework. And the first part is just normal homework. You're going to nurture and love and adore yourself as much as you do this other person or people. This could be your boss. You could be a devoted person at work who's worked for someone for 5 years or more. And this person, let's say, is very selfish, doesn't give you the pay raise that you deserve, doesn't give you the vacation time that they promised you, takes credit for your work, may be sounding familiar for some of you. And staying in that kind of job situation, waiting for that person to change and actually have integrity for you is not a good idea. I would recommend in that case, nurture yourself, love yourself, be compassionate to you. Tell yourself you deserve all these things that we talked about, like a pay raise, vacation, to be recognized for the work that you do and for people not to take credit for the work that you do. And then start looking for a new job because chances are your boss is not going to change. Not in this lifetime. Not in your lifetime anyway. Not when it's meaningful enough for you. Okay. Another example, this could be a family member. This could be a friend. And let's say you're not going to walk away from the family member, but you're still going to need to set some boundaries. That means you stop over nurturing, you stop over compromising, you stop being generous to people who will not treat you in the way that you deserve, no matter who they are. They could be your partner. They could be your child. They could be your grandmother. They could be your next door neighbor. They could be your best friend. This could be your cousin. And the reason why this is important, because you're not going to break the pattern if you don't stop your overgiving behavior, this codependent behavior. You will not break the pattern until you stop. And so your brain, let's say you stop, you go, okay, I felt it during the eclipse. Okay, I know where this is coming from, if this is all true for you. And I'm going to set some boundaries with myself. And as you're setting boundaries, your brain is going to yell at you and say, oh, that's not very nice. Oh, they're probably hurt by this. Oh, they think that you don't like them. Like your brain's going to come up and tell you all of these things, the ego, because the ego is drenched in fear. So anything that comes up as fear related isn't your soul, is not the universe. It is your ego coming in to scare the bejeebies out of you, because your ego doesn't want you to break these patterns. Because what happens when you start to break patterns, you're going to move into self-empowerment. You're going to start to feel empowered. Yay! Yay! So older soul types need to recognize that when they are overly caring to individuals who don't have the ability or the desire to return the favor, and may also throw you under the bus from time to time, or members of your family, or people you work with, or your neighbors, or it could be anywhere in your life, then your job too is not to be too transparent with these people, because they will take things that you say and turn them around to go against you. So you want to have these relationships, even if it's a very important person in your life, you want them to be more superficial, because old souls can be too trusting. They can give too much information. They can even throw themselves under the bus to make other people look good. And that's not healthy either. So we want to break this pattern. If this is coming up for you, it might be, since we're in Pisces energy, which is about taking off those rose-colored glasses, there's probably something in your life that you were in denial about, and you've probably already had some awareness about it in a previous, years, right? You've already had some awareness of it, but you keep, well, they didn't mean it, or they just had a bad day, or they're going to give me a raise next year. They promised. We want to wake up. It's time to wake up. And it's time to stop over nurturing and giving to people who don't respect you or treat you with the generosity that you treat them. This is very exciting. I'm very excited for you. I'm very happy for you. Okay, I'm going to go off to the phone lines now so that we can listen to our callers.
Hello, Marie. Thank you for taking my call. My name is Christine. I'm from New Jersey. I love all the work you are doing. My question is, I am an herbalist and recently healed myself from an invasive illness through diet and herbs.
Great.
But I'm still left with nerve pain. And I also have mitral valve prolapse, which the doctors said looks like it's time to be replaced. I wonder if you could please provide me with some insight on both of these issues. Thank you so much. I am so very grateful. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you for all that you do in the world, and thank you for healing yourself. Congratulations. I believe everyone, when they get healed, that they did it themselves, even though doctors help them, or acupuncturists, herbologists, myself. I believe people really heal themselves, but we are all facilitators. We provide opportunities for them. So congratulations again. I'm very proud of you. The neuropathy is related to the seventh chakra, which governs all of the nerves in your body, right? It governs the neurological system, if you will. So this is about your connection to spirit, source, God, the universe. And right away, the first thing I saw when I scanned your energy, you are not good at receiving. And you've been in a giving career path. Thankfully, you love herbs so much and you trust them so much. They worked in your body to heal whatever, was so devastating during that 5-year period. So the mitral valve prolapse is directly related to the fourth chakra, which is the highest receptivity center in the physical body. So you're an overgiver, you're an overnurturer, and you probably fit a lot of the criteria that I was talking about into the intro to this podcast. Hopefully you don't have any issues that I described. I hope not. So your homework is to start to learn to receive. And receiving is a non-action activity. It's like plants and trees when it rains. They're not turning their head necessarily towards the sun. They're relaxing so that their roots can grab the moisture from the soil, right? So that the rain can run down their stems or the trunks of trees and start to moisten the soil around them. It's a very relaxed form of posture. So if you could close your eyes twice a day for like 5 minutes and imagine all the pores are open in your body and energy or light or water, however you want to visualize it or feel it, is coming in through your pores. And a lot. I've never met a person who's taken in too much energy. And givers notoriously don't take in enough for themselves, and they tend to give their energy to others. So that's something I want you to pay attention with your herbology practice. If you're still doing that, you're not supposed to give your energy to other people. I'm not supposed to give my energy to others. That's why I consistently, to the best of my ability, do things that bring me joy. Because if I'm not in joy, that means I'm starting to use batteries of energy, which means my own energy source. I'm not channeling universal life force energy. I'm not feeding myself. I'm just giving it away. So let's say that your doctors, your cardiologists want to perform this mitral valve replacement surgery. Hopefully, if you need this procedure and they get in there, they just need to repair it versus replace it, which would be great. But again, I love modern medicine. So if you need a new mitral valve, luckily technology and skilled physicians can make that happen. But regardless, we need to heal this leak because you're leaking out copious amounts of energy from the back of your fourth chakra. And I think your love for herbs helped you during that time when you were healing to hold on to more energy, enough to get the herbs to work in your body. Because people can put in any form of medicine. If they're leaking energy out of their body, the medicine's not going to work, whether it's supplements or modern medicine and all of its various different forms. So you have to learn how to receive. This is your what if question. What if my receptive practice for myself is extraordinary? And then I would do near infrared and red light therapy for the mitral valve. It could just make it all much better. Not kidding. It's very powerful. I love platinum therapy for people who write to us all the time. I love platinum therapy and red rush. I think platinum therapy is the more superior form of near infrared and red light therapy, but red rush is a close second because it emits the least amount of UV light out of all of the products on the market so far. Platinum therapy is second to red rush in terms of not emitting UV light, which we don't need. We don't need to sit in front of UV light. That's not healthy. Okay. Thank you, Christine. I hope that was helpful.
Hi, Marie. It's Victoria calling. Thank you for taking my call. My question today is about irrational jealousy or unjustified jealousy, which is an issue I've been dealing with for, definitely my whole marriage, which is now 12 years and probably since before him. And I say it's unjustified or irrational because I do believe there's no reason for it. It's not like he's done something and then I'm jealous. It's kind of made up in my head. And so I know that it has a lot to do with my relationship with myself. And I think it comes from a deep place of probably not feeling like I'm good enough. And I'm so eager to release this pattern. I don't want to be consumed with jealousy and, feel this insecurity in my marriage. And I'm just not sure how to let go of it. I'm reaching out to you, hoping you have some ideas of where it stems from or what I need to do to overcome this. I am trying to employ different ideas you give around self-love. I'm holding a vibration of loving my children in my body and trying to feel that for myself.
Good.
But I think it can become very all-consuming for me, and it's very damaging to my relationship. So any ideas on that? And if you have any quick insights into my actual relationship, into my marriage, I'd love to hear them. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Victoria. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is extremely uncomfortable and challenging, especially for old soul types. That's a one energy they don't like to feel is jealousy. Well, first of all, we definitely want to get rid of that frequency. And then we'll talk about the good aspects of that frequency too. Because we don't want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I have a friend who maybe had a similar feeling about someone they were dating, and perhaps they had this feeling before with other people they dated. And it's kind of like a kid being told over again, don't drive the car, don't steal the keys when I go to sleep at night. It better be in that same parking spot when I get home. Eventually that kid's going to get up and potentially, but most likely grab those keys out of the kitchen counter, and go take that car for a joyride when they were told not to. So we don't want this to be self-fulfilling prophecies. So anything you put a lot of energy in, we attract, positive or negative. So we don't want to be putting energy into it. You're right. This is, from what I can see, your issue. And this is about trusting yourself, not him, not anyone else that you may have those feelings with. It's about trusting yourself. So that's what you need to work on, is to trust yourself. Because when people learn to trust themselves, then they don't look over their shoulder as much or get very inquisitive about people's choices or where they've been or things of that nature, because they trust that their own awareness will let them know if something like that is happening or about to happen. And they also trust themselves to choose people who would be perfect for them, people who have integrity like they do. I have a sneaky suspicion regarding your spouse that maybe in previous lifetimes that was something that he did, and I think maybe he wasn't, because old souls have done everything, right? They've done everything. So you might be smelling something from a previous lifetime, and because you haven't worked on your trusting yourself, which is a self-worth aspect. People who love themselves and appreciate themselves and value themselves trust themselves enormously. They believe in themselves, so they honor themselves. So you might be smelling something from a previous lifetime that just pisses you off. But here's the other interesting part about jealousy, which most people don't know, is that jealousy is really there to show you what you want. And I think you're just misinterpreting this jealousy. I think there's a lot of things going on. It's really interesting. I want you to stop being mad at yourself about it. I want you to start to, honey, you're so cute when you're jealous. I want you to start appreciating this part of yourself. Honey, you're adorable when you're jealous. I just love you. This is how I want you to talk to yourself. Oh, that's so cute. You're starting to feel jealous again. I love you so much. I want you to change your energy about it, because that's going to help you to have a different awareness of it. But maybe there's something about his life that you wish you had. Maybe there's something about his life, and I don't mean about relationships, but something else. Does he have a career that you aspire to have a similar type of career path? It doesn't have to be that, but I want you to kind of look at this from a different angle, not from, fears of him not being monogamous with you, right? Or flirting with other people, although I don't think flirting occasionally is a bad thing. I think it could be good for people in relationship, actually, to I just flirted for a second and I can't wait to get home to my partner, But I want you to look at, there's something in his life that you want, that you're not allowing yourself to have. It probably has nothing to do with a relationship and you've misinterpreted it. So I think you've got a lot of cool things to look at with the energy of the eclipse that could, bring you great fulfillment. And for everyone who's listening, if you're jealous of anyone about anything, it's because you want that thing. Obviously, we're talking about it slightly different in this phone call conversation. But if there's someone that you feel jealous about, look at their life, because there's something you want that they have. And that's just great information. It doesn't mean you want to take what they have and give it to yourself. No, that's not what it means. It means that your soul is saying, you're meant to have this too. You can have this as well. This is also meant to be in your life. You just need to let it happen. That's really the true vibration of jealousy. It's a lot more powerful than people realize.
Hi, Marie. This is Allison Van Raden, and I am currently in the LA area and looking for a new home to live, period. I'm wondering what part of LA would be good for me, Silver Lake or Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. I'm just not quite sure, even if California is the best for me.
Yeah.
However, I just left Sedona, and there was a lot of drama there, so that wasn't the best choice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Allison. I mean, Sedona is such an interesting energy. Not my favorite high vibrational place for me. It's not my favorite for sure. But if drama was there, I would definitely look at your energy and being attracted to drama. I think you would do better in Oregon, actually. A little bit more north. I think it would be better for you. Yeah, Oregon's north for you. But if you're want to hang out in California, then Santa Monica had the best vibration. But I would work on drama, attracting dramatic situations. I think you have a little bit of addiction to younger soul types. And you're not going to get exactly what you want out of relationships if you continue to play in the sand with people who aren't your peers. It's going to be challenging. It's important to attract people in your life who have similar belief systems, make similar life choices, have similar consciousness as you. It's critical and it's very important, because if you keep having to share who you are, I shared something on Instagram today about this. You want to have people who recognize your soul, so you don't have to keep telling the story over and over and over again to exhaustion to people who can't see that type of soul. Yeah. So I would work on that. Like, for instance, probably people who are best for you, you maybe thought that they are too good for you. Yeah. So increase your standards, raise that bar, and let different people come into your life so that you can have honest conversations too. You can have really good, honest conversations with someone, which is so nice when you hang out with people with the same soul frequency, vibration, or form of consciousness. It's so refreshing to have, what may feel like vulnerable conversations, and have people love you and cherish you and respect you, and not jump to weird conclusions because they don't have the awareness that you have. Yeah, so that's what I'm recommending. I hope that's helpful.
Hi, Marie. My name is Annette, and I am in Seattle. I would like to know if my wife has any messages for me. I lost her very suddenly almost 3 years ago, and I'm having a hard time moving forward. You're not a life that she's no longer a part of. Mm-hmm. I feel so lost and lonely. I really appreciate your time and effort. Thank you.
You're welcome, Annette. And I'm so sorry that sucks. Really, it sucks. I mean, you meet someone that you just adore, you fall madly in love with each other, and then there's a sudden death of a partner. I'm very, very sorry. I can just feel you're still in shock. 3 years later, you're still in shock that this person has crossed over. And sudden deaths are, I think, one of the worst because we're typically not prepared for it. Although your guides are telling me that they did try to prepare you for this. So maybe you had some dreams, or you had a vision, or you heard something, or maybe people around you that you didn't know very well experienced some sudden death in their life. Like the universe was knocking on your door. They're going, hi, we have some information we want to share with you. You're probably not going to like it, but we don't want you to go into shock for years. I mean, that's what the universe does, is especially when people are sensitive, they want to give you a heads up so that, we're not perplexed for long periods of time about, challenging and difficult scenarios. Your wife took a while before she crossed. Not that she couldn't. In other words, like she could have crossed very quickly, but she said leaving her body was shocking for her too. But luckily it wasn't an unpleasant experience. It's not like when someone's leaving, and she said, this is what you want to know. That's what she's telling me. You want to know this. She, of course, loves you, and she misses you too. But she says that if you have some information about her experience, that could be helpful for you. And you can, of course, communicate with her, especially when your energy starts to rise, so that she can keep sharing her experiences with you on the other side. I think relationships are supposed to continue no matter what dimension we live in. And what I think is most important, especially what souls want to be communicated through mediums, and not all mediums may agree with us, but I really believe this part is true. They want to communicate their experiences. They want to share their knowledge. They want to help humans to evolve and to expand. So she said it was like a confusing moment where she felt like she was asleep. She did not know she had died. And she was merging into the astral plane. So she was kind of waxing and waning, almost like going in and out of the body. And she was moving into the astral plane, which is the fourth dimension for Earth. So Earth is dimension 3, astral plane is dimension 4, heaven is dimension 5. And these dimensions are huge. The fourth dimension is bigger than Earth, so it's quite enormous. Some people fly through the fourth dimension and pop onto the other side. Some people take a couple weeks, some people take months. I think your partner took 6 to 8 months before she left the astral plane and crossed over to the heavens. And I think it's because she was having fun. She might have been an explorer of some sort, or a person who, if she went on holiday, would take time to walk into old churches or find an old pasture and talk to a cow. Or, I'm just remembering I had a lovely time in Ireland, and cows were just walking in fenced cemeteries, eating organic grass. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. So as she's waxing and waving out of her body, she said she began to hear things. She said her vision was kind of blurry, although what she saw, she believes it was accurate, where before she thought it was a dream. And so she said she waxed and waned for a while, almost like her energy's moving kind of on the fringe of Earth and then into the astral plane, fringe of Earth, into the astral plane. And then she started to hear a voice. It was a male voice. She said that it wasn't like her father's voice or her grandfather's. It wasn't a family member's voice. It was a voice she knew from previous lifetimes, maybe even a spirit guide from a previous lifetime. She said it was extremely familiar, but not in a way like, oh, it's Uncle Bob, more in a way like, oh, I know this voice. I can trust this voice. I am immediately calm and safe. Not that she was anxious. She was just curious, like, I can't wake up from this dream. I'm kind of going in and out. What's happening? And the voice told her that she had died, that her body had expired, and that her energy was leaving the body in preparation for her to cross into the heavens. And she said that she didn't go into panic about all the people she was leaving behind immediately. She said she eventually got curious. Well, what about this person? And what about that person? I'm sure you were on the list, Annette. What about Annette? And she said the voice would say to her every time she had a question, they will be cared for, that they are still on Earth. you are moving in, you're crossing to the heavens. And she said the voice was just so supportive, compassionate. It's like it could read her mind and then give her information to help her steady herself so that her energy could leave the physical realm so that she could stay in the non-physical, in the astral plane, so she could prepare to cross. She said it took a while. Like, she's estimating 5 human days is what she said it took to kind of wax and wane out of this interesting situation. And then she said after that, she started getting downloads of knowledge, like her soul kicked in and told her everything that she could ever want to know. She said it's been the ride of a lifetime. The only thing she wishes, although she doesn't want you to leave your body, she says it's not your time. You have to stay on earth and figure out how to be happy without me. That's the hardest part for humans, is learning how to be happy when they're not in relationship. You know, it's hard for humans. That's why people don't stay out of relationship for very long. Mostly men, but women too, or people who identify as masculine energy. They leave a relationship, within a year they're already in a relationship, or within a year they're married, or less than, you know. Women too, but men are faster. So she says one of the things your soul wants to learn is to be happy when someone's not laying next to you or holding your hand or helping you make coffee in the morning or talking about your day. She says, honey, this is your time to learn how to be fulfilled by yourself. That's what she says to you. It's very insightful, extremely wise. As a single person, I can tell you that I am in awe of the power and the beauty and the significance of having time to oneself. It is really, really underrated, like profoundly underrated. So she spent, those almost probably 8 months just getting tons of information, of downloads of consciousness and genius. She said it was phenomenal. And then she finally began to hear what was probably a grandmother's voice calling her to the other side from this lifetime. And she goes, I slowly walked over. I didn't fly like a rocket. I slowly walked over because she just wanted to savor every moment of the other side. She loves it there. I hope that's helpful. I truly, truly, truly do. And I hope you have some fun learning how to be happy alone and fulfilled, and to recognize that your relationship with yourself is probably the most significant relationship you will ever experience in your life. Seriously. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. I'm experiencing something that I don't know where to turn to for help. Period. It's supernatural in nature. I have developed a very strong faith. I'm in recovery from addiction, but I'm suffering with depression and anxiety. I'm a cancer survivor. And my faith has been slowly gained through AA. I have somewhat of a gift of discernment, and my boyfriend has some psychic ability, but the supernatural things happening around me, I can't categorize. And I know most of them. Typically it's a demon, a poltergeist, or a very strong ghost. And what's happening here is insane. And, I'm 61. I feel like I've struggled a lot, but I do believe that every struggle is how we learn soul lessons. So I could use some feedback, but I don't know if this is something you sense or even do. But maybe if you don't, you could lead me to someone, because I've been praying and it's affecting my boyfriend's house. It's in my parents' house, and it's just been something I don't know how to handle. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gina. So yeah, I know all about all of this stuff. You may not like my perception of it, but you are creating this and you are attracting this. This is based on your own emotions and vibration and frequency. Poltergeists, demons, all of that are based on the fear and the trauma that's going on inside the person. So yeah, I know you may not like that, right? So it also shows how powerful you are, how you're incredibly powerful, but you need to change the way you move your energy. You need to raise your vibration significantly. You need to be in high vibrational energy. And stop thinking that, I mean, I agree with you that challenges in our life are there to teach us, but humans don't have to learn that way. Humans could simply raise their consciousness. I mean, if I had really listened when I was young to the true message in the majority of the self-help books that I read, that we need to fall in love with ourselves. I mean, I read it. My mind told me it knew what it meant, but that's not true. I hadn't embodied it. I didn't get really curious about it. I didn't know how to feel love for myself, which took a while for me to do, actually, because I wouldn't have had so many challenges, which I embrace and I'm grateful for, because I did learn. But we don't have to learn through challenging circumstances. That's a myth. It's an option. It's an option that's present in a physical reality that is not present in a non-physical reality. So these low vibrational energies that you're attracting to yourself are based on your frequency and your vibrations. You have to change your vibration. You have to change your frequency. You have to recognize that you're a precious being, unconditionally loved, adored, and cherished at all times. And you deserve to have an experience that's different than these experiences. You are attracting it. You are the common denominator to these interactions. And these interactions are related to the trauma inside your body. And although AA is a good program, if you've been in it for a long time, I would reconsider finding a different way to visit these traumas, because AA, you know, I think it's kind of an intro healing organization. I think it's an excellent organization. I think it's very powerful. It obviously works. But in order to get people to raise their consciousness, they have to let go of guilt, which AA is completely built on shame and guilt, which again is effective to help people to stop having addictions, but it is not effective for long time healing. So that's what I think. And you can stay in AA, let's say, if you're afraid you're going to go back to addiction behavior, but seek out different forms of healers like therapists who are not going to shame and blame you over and over and over again for years and years and years, like people do who stay in AA long after they stopped their addictive behavior. Okay, those are my thoughts. I hope all of these are helpful. I wish you all a beautiful, happy eclipse time, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.